Okay. Hello, everybody. It's already 7 p.m. I'm really glad to see all of you here. And today we are having our second seminar about Python, our introduction to Python for MBAI students. I think we will be here up until 9:30, right? So this is all about this. So last time we got a brief introduction to Python. All right, so we looked what this language is. It's basic history, right? We looked how we can actually work with it. Hello? Welcome. We looked at which ways, like by charting we can run, or in command line, or Jupyter, or browser style programs, so to say. Then we wrote our first programs. Like for example, the first was hello world. Then we did some mathematical exercises, right? So we understood what the variable is. The variable in programming. We understood that the code implements from top to bottom, line by line, right? Then we actually looked at the types of variables. Which type of variables do you remember?
Integer, float.
Yes.
String.
Yes. Okay. It's all enough. For this will be actually it's quite correct to say that set and dictionary also type of variable, but I prefer to call it data structures because it's So So actually, we look at it's like integers is just numbers, floats is like дробные числа, floating numbers, and then strings are the text, and bools are true or false. And we did some exercises with them. And some functions. Also, we discovered data structures like list, double, dictionary, and set. So they're quite different, and you will work with them a lot, and you will like them because they give you a lot of power, programming power, to deal with. And this is one of the reasons why Python is a high-level computer language, because there are so many different implemented data structures, and this is great. So we begin today. We will actually with all of this knowledge, we will do some stuff, right? And we will begin from the word that actually this word is known mainly in our country by Python, because it's called the word is indentation. From in English, the translation is also like. So at least in this meeting. So why I'm telling this? Because Python, when you see code of Python, you see that this code is quite distinct from Java or from C++ or from other languages. And the main distinction you see, from the start, is that all the code is nicely identical. Okay, I'm right now with light. I will continue. So that if you don't see too good, I will turn on the light and we will begin to write something. Just a couple of slides. Just hope that you more or less see. Can you make a light little bit? Okay, yes. I think it's better. Good. Check. Okay, good. Now I see. This is like we will talk about if analysis. Just what this program does is it creates a KSC string and puts it into variable A. Actually, address of the KSC string, but forget about it. You can think of it as just puts here and 5 here, and it checks if A is equal. It brings what does it print? What's the type of this variable? String. Yes. It's actually great. Well, this is good because this is but this is string, so it's actually different, right? And if else it means something else. So if I want to do some logical step or some program, I need to make indentation. Yes, you don't need to make indentation in obligatory in C++, in C, in Java, in PHP, and all other languages. Well, it's actually considered as a good style of programming to make indentations to make code readable. But in Python it's obligatory, so it will not work. But this indentation gives us possibility always to have a nice code and not to have all these curly braces you see a lot of in other languages, like in C++. You have this all around these signs like curly braces, but not in Python because we have what? We have indentation. So what is indentation? Like in general, indentation is 4 white spaces, like boom, 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 boom. This is your indentation. Well, if you're in a very serious project and so on, yes, you can. You must put these 4 spaces. Actually, it works even if you have some other amount of spaces and so on. If you have like in one pattern line, one structure, all of your code. But the general rule is about 4 spaces, right? Like it's a good sign and it's serious project. But I personally always use stub, one top, right? And yet I didn't have problems with this. But then again, it depends on the seriousness of the project you work with. But like in your tasks, like right, at least in this class for sure, you will not have a problem if you just push stub once. Okay, so this is indentation. Okay, last time I also, like apart from data types and data structures, we looked at operators in Python. We looked at 4 different types of operators. This is the first one. So, assignment operators are used to assign values to variables. So, as in the previous example, we assign this is actually like the core meaning of assignment operators is operators, because here we mean, hey computer, took this 5 and put it into X. I will, so for the last time I will say that actually in Python it means, hey computer, put here an address where this 5 lives, but you don't need to think about that, at least in this course, so just you can think of put this 5 into X. Yeah. But there are other guys, and they are very great. So if you want from computer to increase X by 5, you can write X is equal to X plus 5, right? Computer just come there. If X is 10, you say, hey computer, give me X is equal X plus 5. It means X is equal 10 plus 5. It means now X is equal to 15. So this is like it does, but in Python we have shortcut plus equal. You will write it all. Yeah, I promise you. So the same with minus, the same with multiplication, division, and all the other operators. This is actually quite funky. This is like bitwise. You don't need it right now, but at least you have this information in your presentation that how it works. Actually, it differs from language to language, but in Python it's like that. Okay, and now we are coming to the programming side. So now we are looking at the conditionals. So conditionals, because up until this point we just looked some stuff which we can, I don't know, just some fancy stuff, and it does almost nothing. But here we come actually to the basis of programming because it's like condition. So it gives us a opportunity to build some algorithm, right? So conditionals are like the 3 main words: if, elif, else. Yes, is used in Python decision making. So the logic is like you have this expression. If you come here, you have this expression. You have 2 possibilities: either true, either false. If it false, you come here, do what's inside if, and go outside. if you have false, you don't go with this if, you just go straight outside of the row. Yeah, and this is like an example. For example, we have a variable called number 5. And it's a little bit complicated example. So if number is greater than 0, print positive. If number equals to 0, print 0, else print negative. So yeah, in Python, again, I think all of you studied this already in high school, but nevertheless, notice the syntax that here in Python we must write if, then we must write this expression, and this expression, how do you think, what does it return? Bool. Yes. Yeah, it means that this expression it returns bools, either true or either false. So in our particular case, it returns true because this is 5. Is number is greater than 5, it returns true. It means that we go here in this line, and we do what? We print positive. Okay. There is another word elif. So it means else if. Once again, notice that in some programming languages it is written like else if and so on. Here in Python is elif, and elif number is 0, we print 0. So actually it means that hey computer number is greater than 0. No, hey computer, like we don't go here. Hey computer, is our number equal to 0? Yes, and we don't go here. Yeah. But if it is not positive and not 0, else all the other cases print negative. Yeah, so just any questions? Not so far. Yeah, so just if you would like to notice, you control this if with this else's, right? So yeah, so I mean you can write this if without any else's, but always think about what's going on in your program, because you can like fall into some logical trap. Yeah, so just let's do here just example. You see, right? Okay, now I will switch on the left. Just to apply some conditions. So again, I'm in my chart. I will quickly set for you good size for you to see. Okay, now it looks better, right? So, for example, this could be. I want to make it little bit this exercise little bit fancier. So, for example, I will continue like that. N is equal to 5, right? If n is greater than 0, I put semicolon, then print positive. Now if n is equal to 0, I print negative. 0. 0, so yes. And else print negative. Okay, but I run this positive, right? So it writes me positive. So let me check. I must always check. If I run it into 0, it's 0. Oh, great. If I write it -3, it's negative. And yeah, so okay, but it's kind of stupid that I must always write it there. So at the top. For example, I want the user to give me a number, and I want to tell him how to, actually, is his number greater than 0, equal, or less than 0. So there is a nice function called input. So, for example, I write input. Yes, this is a function. I would like to put in n what user inputs, right? So I take this input and I put it to the variable n. and I would like to write something. I put just a string, and a user will see it on his screen. Please write a number. Semicolon. Okay, so what happens? I run my program. You see here it writes, please write a number, right? So I can write 6 and push enter. Yes, and it gives me a mistake. Why? Because input is such function. Input it returns string, so it assumes that the user who entered the something, it actually doesn't assume, it saves it as string. Yeah, so actually you can understand from here that not supported between instances of string and integer. So for this case, we have such nice functions as typecasting. So I will this thing which user inputs, which I put in n, it's right now a string, but I can compare integers or floats with 0. I can't compare strings. So what I need to do, I need to write int, and this is called typecasting. Yes, I'm writing it, and now please write a number 6 positive. Yeah, it's yeah. Now it works. Now let's check because I'm not sure. Okay. Please write number 0. 0. Yeah, and the last one is the number -2. Negative. Yeah, great. Yeah, here just correction. So again, what happened? I will just write it from the beginning. Yeah. So just I'm again. So 6. But if I put it here, 6 I need to choose like. But I want to write a cool program. So to put in and something, I write function input, right? And I here put a string which user will see in his screen. Give me for this time. Give me please a number. But all of this thing it returns me string which I can't compare to 0. So I will use a function int which is called for integer, and I will so to say typecast it to the integer. Yeah, this can look a little bit wow, what's going on? It's so fast and it's like crazy. Oh my god! But actually no. But this is important. Remember, it was input function because well. You probably realize it was input function. Okay, so it's not in the presentation. You just make notes. Yeah, and remember that it returns string. And in order to make if you have like 25 is okay. I will switch on the line and the door. So if you have where's all the markers? So in Python, if you have like 6 like this written, this is string, and like this is integer, and this is float. And they are not the same things, they are different things. It's text, it's integer number, it's floating number. So if you want to make this thing out of this thing, so for example, let's put it like m is equal to this, n is equal to this, z is equal to this. So if I would like to create something new, if I would like to receive something which is equal to n, then I just create another variable like, well, not to confuse you, let me just take a string. Yes, a string, so it's called m. So I just create an n. And blue one. So I will create, this is M, Maxim. And I would like to create integer, so I take this M and I take a function int and I put variables at M. That's what I did there. But we have vice versa. So, for example, I think if I have, like, for example, N, which is right now the, okay, I will write that 6 is equal to, which is integer, is equal to is string is equal to str6. Yeah, so this is called, well, it's quite confusing, but we can actually use yeah, like this. Yeah, so this is called typecasting. Yeah. So this is how you work, and you will actually face it a lot. It means that different types they can look similar, but they have their different fields. Any questions? No? Well, okay. I hope that you will digest all this sooner or later. So. One moment. Okay. Well, I will see whether you can see the next slide. Okay, so this was like a very simple conditionals, like if else, right? And I actually just added this typecasting thing for you to understand what's going on. But we can go like in several like deeply into this. So what happens if A happens? I go, and what happens if A happens and then B happens? And what happens if B happens and then C happens? And like this. So this is called nested condition. So nest is like nested, like so they're like nested there. And then again, for example, we have a number 8. If number is equal to is greater to 0, and if number is greater to 10, I will write the number is positive and bigger than 10. Else, I will write the number is positive and less than 10 because it's greater than 10. It's greater than 0. No, because it's less than 10, but greater than 0. So it's like here. So all of this it has meaning only if number is greater than 0. But if number is not greater than 0, it writes me then again 0 and else negative. Well, yeah. So I can actually I have like a set of my numbers, right? And I can actually use higher accuracy to determine where my number is. It's just the example is number, so I have only like the second level of my nesting, but you understand that it could be more levels. So it's like this. Yeah, it was like this. So in Python, if you have like more if else, it's all levels, it goes there. So it could be really long. It could be ladder, yes, ladder, really long ladder. Yes, so for state fields, so to say. So yeah, so it was conditionals if else, but we can make it more complicated. We can make it nested. Okay. So yeah, so let's write, for example, this program, and I will understand what is going on here because this is. We operate only with stuff I told you, but the stuff I told you, but it's already it does something really interesting. Okay, so I don't need this. So just imagine imagine that I have a task. I would like to write I have a website, and I have okay. So this is command, right? But it's better to use this command. So I just write what's going on. I have a website. I would like. I have two types of users. I would like to create admins. I would like two types of users will be admins and just users. I would like to create admins. I would like to welcome users, and I would like to deny. Deny means not to allow to enter everybody else. Okay, so this is my task, and I will track users using all this stuff we covered in this course, in these meetings in the evening. So to get to get well, I'm not asking for the name. I'm asking for the types. So for this, I will create a variable called user. What user gave me, and I would like to get an input, right? So I write input. And please tell me who are you. Okay, now I can run my program and just see what happens. So please tell me who are you, and I run something, and nothing happens, the program ends. Okay, for this, I also know that I have just the admins and just users. So I can create like a list. We know what is the least possible roles is equal to admin or just user. Okay. Now I can use some kind of condition. So if user gave me that he is admin, I will write something to him. If user gave me that he is just user, I will give him something else. If he gave me something else, I will deny him. Everything is written actually right here. So okay. So what will I do? User gives me something, and I have a list. I can use the thing which is called like operator in. That I will check in Python. I will check that his name is somewhere here. So I just write if what user gave me, and I begin to write. And this is one variable, but PyCharm magically suggests me to write, and I just enter. What user gave me is in possible roles. I write semicolon. I write print hello admin. Have all the following. Okay, now I have another question. Leave. No, let's go with it. What is user gave me in possible roles? If what gave me user, let's do like this, equals to admin, then print this. Else, because I assume that it is there, I will write hello user. Well, and the last, if it is not true, then I print access denied. Okay, so let's run. Please tell me where. I'll say admin. Wow, hello admin. You have all the power because I I asked for you is this I write here this admin. This admin gives to, goes to this variable, right? And it checks whether it is here in possible roles, in these possible roles, and it comes to this point because it is equal to admin, and it prints hello admin. But let's check because maybe it's your also must test. Okay, I wrote about admin, but what if I write just user? I'm just user. Hello user, welcome. So then again, it is here, but it got into this point. Why? Because what user gave me doesn't equal to admin, but it is in this if, it lives in this if, and it is in possible roles list. And what if I write yes? What will happen?
Not access denied.
Yes, it's not. It's, yes, you're right, it's access denied. Yeah, so this is like, okay, I used here input, I used here a notion of role, right? I need no typecasting. Why? Because I ask user for a string and I receive a string, so I don't need all this because I don't work with language here. So we have nested loops, and I use here this conditional in. Okay. So I didn't use here a leaf, but I could. Okay, so let's try to write it with a leaf and with other conditions. So I'll just comment it, and because I would like to save my code, right? Okay, so let's go with a leaf. If what user gave me in possible roles and what user gave me is equal to admin, then print hello admin. And what user gave me in possible roles and what user gave me is equals to just user, then print good morning, good evening, user, and else print what? I just write different things for you to understand that this has no influence for the program right now because all of this I wrote earlier. I commented, right? I just rounded it by school. Sorry? Excuse me. Okay. So let's check. Let's tell me who are you. I'm telling that I'm admin. Hello admin. Please now again. Please tell me who are you. Just user. Good evening user, right? And please tell me who are you. I'll say Andrei. Excuse me. Yeah, I just wrote another stuff for you to see that this is like this one is right now going, and this one which was previously it is not going because it's comment. So here you see that just step back. I did it here with nested loops, right? Nested loops, just if and then is this if else. And here I did it just without nested loops with if, elif, and else. But I needed to use here this AND operation. Bless you. Okay, I hope that more or less it's clear what's going on. It's actually cool. It's we just know some basic stuff, but the logic of many websites which we enter, it's actually like in very general terms, it's the same. So it just checks if else, check, and so on. But it has a lot of encoding, it has a lot of hash functions and so on. But like in the general, you can write this program like easy, just only through this. Then again, just this function input, this notion of list, this operator in, this operator and this conditionals if else and this nested condition. That's all we need, and you already know it. So, okay, let's continue. So, yeah, this is this program, but like in slightly other way. But yeah, just you can say whatever you want. At least this is what you have in your presentation. Okay, just some couple of things to remember. I will just switch on the light. Yeah, because if it is very dark all the time, no. Okay, so just a couple of rhetoric things to remember. So at first, actually I don't use it very often, but if you have a very long string, actually row, when you must do some actions, you can actually move to another string by this sign. This is check, right? Yeah. Also, you can like put it into parentheses. So this is actually important because I see a lot of people that write very long code. It is hard to read it, but you can do this in time. Yeah, same case is with a list. So you can write a list like this, right? Not read through by comma here, but like this. Yeah, and this is actually also interesting. So we can put variables in one line using semicolons. This is not really Pythonic. Well, I don't know, but like I don't see it used very often. I personally always declare new variables from the new line. For me, it's kind of nice and looking. But if you have a lot of really a lot of variables, perhaps this technique is also used, at least in Python you can do this. So yes, you can declare variables in one row, but you must put semicolon between each and every one. Okay, so let's begin to talk about the loops because we have some time before our break. Yes.
One question.
Yes.
Is the same construction like the switch case in Python or?
Switch case?
Yes.
Wow, it's definitely in C case off. Yes, I haven't used it in Python really. I haven't. I think there is not, but I could understand. But yes, switch case off, it's C stuff.
It's also conditional.
Yeah. Very good question. I think some kind of it is, but I personally haven't used the switch case. Well, good question. I will make a research. Okay. About a little bit about loops, and then again, you had the experience with C, right? Or no?
Yeah, C#.
C#. Okay. C# do you have do while loop?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So because in C there is, yeah. So in Python we have actually two major type of loops. What is loop? Loop is cycle. Yeah. So I can actually make a sign. Where is the marker? I forgot what my is. So just for you to remember the yeah, another sign is like this a cycle. Well, okay. Let me it's not accurate, but I know that loops a cycle. So this is another fundamental technique of programming, like conditionals, where they are in all this if-elses. They are in all programming languages. It is impossible to make any program without if-elses. Loops are actually the same. So it means that you ask computer to make something several times, and it saves you and everybody else a lot of time and money in the sources. So in Python we have two big type of loops, while and for and while. So for we use when we have some countable number of cases when we need to do an action. So countable number of times. So we use it either like we have some, for example, list for each element of the list, or like in numbers. So we have like 100, and from 0 to 100 we do something. So this is a big difference. So for here, for each item in sequence, are we in the last? It asks if yes, we exit. If no, we continue this form. And we like go like are there the last, are there the last, are there the last, and we finally come to the last one, and we exit. This is for while loop. It goes while the condition holds. So we enter the while loop, and we have like the test expression. If it holds, we continue our loop. Yeah, it could be until infinity. So while loops are actually dangerous because you can trap infinite loop. So you just write some code and you forget or made a mistake, made a mistake, you didn't specify when must it end. So in while loop you can trap into infinity. How to exit from infinite loop? I suggest you should note it's like Ctrl plus C. Ctrl C, it helps you to avoid infinite loop, just breaks. Yeah, so and you told the expression, you do body of a loop, and you do it, and then at some moment hopefully it comes to when the condition doesn't hold, it falls, and it exits loop. Okay, so two types of loops. There are several techniques of using loop, and they are actually quite different. Even for loop we can use in at least two ways. While we can make like eternal loop and then they break it, but we can also make it on purpose not eternal. Hopefully I will explain all this. So this is like two domain loops in Python. In some other languages there are some other loops. For example, I asked about do while loop. So it means like if you in C and C# language, C++, I guess it's used when you want to make something at least once. Yes, but because here, if condition doesn't hold, it like general cases you will do, but there is a technique called like eternal loop while through to make this happen in Python. Okay. So let's start from for loop. Yeah, let's start. I think we have this. Yeah, let's start from loop and then we break. So as I said already, for loop in Python we used to iterate over iterable objects. This means that we have some object and we iterate for each of them. So what this object could be? It could be like some range of some number, like for example 50. Like in range 50 we do something like this. It means like from 0 to 50. Or it could be like a list or a tuple or even dictionaries, I don't remember, but this and tuple for sure. So yeah, iterating over sequence is called traversing. Okay, so for example, this is just a snippet of code. I don't think that right now it is necessary to code it. I think you can digest. So content is a program combined the sum of all numbers stored in a list. What the list is? The list is called numbers, and it contains how many, if I'm not mistaken, elements, right? 6, 5, 3, blah, 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 and in square brackets equals. Yeah, we would like to know the substitute. So just imagine that we are new to programming and we don't know implement especially Python methods. We just want to make it like only using the arsenal of actions we know so far in this meeting seminars. So we create a variable to store the sum. We create sum and put 0 here. And then we iterate for well in numbers. We do what? We do sum is equals to sum plus 12. So here I don't use like a certain operator plus equals, but it can be used, but just to reduce it. So what it does? At the first step, well numbers. So it takes numbers and it calls each element well. So it goes here. It takes 6. And what does it do? The sum is 0. So he says increase please the sum. So 0 plus 6. And sum becomes 6. Then it goes upstairs, back to the wall, and he looks at the 5. So he puts here 5. This sum is already 6, so 6 plus 5 is 11. He puts 11 here in the sum. Then he goes to the 3. He puts 3 here. Here is 11. 11 plus 3 is equal to 14, and he puts 14 here. And he does it for all the elements of this list up until 11. Yeah, and the sum is 48. Yeah, so just I don't need it. I need to write, but the sum of these round numbers is 48. Yeah, and we print it. Yeah, just to show what's going on. Yes. Okay, so wait. So far. Everything is okay, is for you, right? Understand? Yeah, so it's programming, it zooms, and like zooms, and goes here up until all the elements of this list are touched by this for loop. And the last slide until break. Okay. So for loops. They can have certain, they are not that simple because they also can have a break. It means that some several conditions that make a function to stop at certain point. So, for example, break is widely used, else is not. That's used green, but you can go without it. But for example, what is break? So, what's going on here? We have a list called which consists of 3 elements: 0, 1, 4 I integer. By the way, there is no difference how to name this. You can call it well. You can call it I. You can call it I don't know key, whatever. So it is no difference because what do? You create a local variable which lives only here. So you create a variable. So you just tell, hey computer, I have a digits, it's iterable object, in our case it's a list. Please all of the instances of this object, please call them I and do for everyone here, but go like from beginning to the end. So it goes and prints for all digits here, it prints I. So like first operation. He comes and sees 0, print 0. Once he prints, then do this one, print this object. Once, and then the last one prints the last one. Okay, so it goes, and here else, like no items left. So like this else is connected to this for where when for already finished, it writes, it does something like for runs, and then it's like the strawberry on the cake, if to say, or yeah, cherry, it's cherry on the cake.
But if we omit else and just add print.
Yes, we can. Indeed, I never use else, but yes, but it's considered a good start to know things that else exists. Actually, no. If you write print items on all left, and you have some here breaks over there, maybe you will come at a situation when it's important for you whether you saw a break there or not. Because in your case, it will write anyway. Yeah. So yeah, just for example, digits 0 to 5 is the same goes, but we added the condition. So if I is equal to 2, it is greater than 2, then we break. Break is a keyword that when computer it goes like this, just follows the logic. Like it comes here, digits. Then for I in digits, it begins here. It takes 0 and like if 0 is greater than 2, it's not greater than 2, then it comes here. Print 0i. Now it comes back here, he takes another one. It's 1. If I is equal to 2, it returns false because 1 is not greater than 2. It goes here, print, and it prints 1. And now it goes here, it takes 5. If 5 is greater than 2, 5 is greater than 2. It returns true. Then we go here into if, and we see the word break. And break means we are getting out of our for loop. Yes, so break means like, hey computer, stop doing for loop, just get out of for loop. Yeah, so this is the example, right? So I get out, and this is not print. But if you just print, then not so. Okay, so yeah. So good question. I think you can see an answer, but I really almost never used this else, but maybe in some cases it is necessary. But this break I use a lot. Yes, so it's like a keyword that tells the computer to stop at some point. Yeah, well, let's finish. Yes. Let's finish for okay, so then again, and one of the, I will not say it, the word paradigm, but I don't know, the style of working with for loop. So just imagine that you have, I will write here like this, this list. I'll work with this list. Yep. So you have a list, Johnny, which consists of 3 elements: pop, rock, jazz. Pop, rock, jazz. So and now you want to have a for loop to write like you can do it both ways. You're mistaken. Yeah, maybe I'll switch to the computer. But the thing is, you can understand this pop, rock, jazz. Like if you write for something since in, this is like first step. For something in Java, for something you do, like you write this do, for something in Java, like this is something, this is something, this is something do. Yeah, no, it's like for you to understand for genres. Oh, okay. This is let it be genres. Let it be also genres. And this is genre. So this is like plural. So the list is called genres. I already made the expression. This is just one genre. And like for genre, in genres, like print genre. Yeah, so it just, you understand this for loop that it takes its genres as list, and it takes each element of the list and it prints it. It works. But there is another way how to work with it. This is so for I prefer, in such cases I prefer to call it an IDEs. So we can think of this like an object, but in some cases it's fun to think of it like about indexes of it. So it has index 0, it has index 1, it has index 2. So for IDEs in and now I want to create, I want to access like the elements of the genres by index. So for IDEs in now I use two functions, range and length. So range creates me like, as I said already, range function creates me like an iterator or generator, which gives me like numbers up until some number. Like range 50, it means numbers from 0 to 49. Yeah, range 50 from 0 to 49. And length here gives me, length function gives me the number of elements in some function. So I write range length genres, put a semicolon, and now I would like to print what? I'm going to print genres, and what is there? This, what is that index? Okay, so let's just for 2 minutes see whether it is really working. Right now, so this is like the second. Oh my goodness! But I will switch on the light later. So let me just quickly check. Okay, so I can erase all this. So I have just a list called genres, language genres. So list, like what was a pop, rock, jazz, jazz. Okay, I run it, nothing happens. Exit code 0, nothing happens because, so I would like to write even something more fancy. I would like to, for genre in genres. By the way, it's a good style to call this variable which created for loop something meaningful. That I could like make G for G in genres, but maybe in some cases it's good to make a G, but I would like genres. For genres, print I love, for example, plus genre. Yes, you see, it works. So it writes me I love pop, I love rock, and I love jazz. Why? Because it understands like that I just iterate over all the elements here. Yeah, but this was the first like so to say, not paradigm but style of for loop. So, but I would like to make it. So sometimes I need to make it in another way. So again, using this combination of len and range function. So let me show you what is actually range. For example, for IDX in range 5, I would like to print IDX. What will happen? It will print me what all the numbers starting from 0 up to 4, not including 5. If I write 10, it will print me all numbers from 0 up to 9, not including 10. This is what is called range. This is the first function. And second function is length. So, for example, print. So I would like to know the length of genres. So in this function length, it just goes here to jumpers and counts the number of elements in this jumper, in this list jumpers. So there are obviously 3 elements there. So I'd like to print this, I run the program, and it gives me 3, right? Okay. So and now I combine all of this to receive a nice another style. So I run for index IDX in some range. So I have some index, so I put range. And what range? I don't know what range, but like how many indexes I need. Indexes, how many there are elements in jumpers. How many elements in jumpers there are, like length elements in jumpers. And I write, and now because I write print I love plus and now I put jumpers IDs jumpers. Yeah, the same stuff. Yeah, so 2 ways at least to using for loops. So again, in the first way, actually everything is written here, so you can see a little bit later. So in the first way, I just thought about every object here, and the second, I just created another object of which consists of so many integers in order how many elements jumps have, and I address to it using this index, because like if it is 0, it comes to jumps 0. If it is 1, it comes to 1. If it is 2, it comes to jumps. Okay, so at this point, I think we just have a last comment in this. Yeah, so actually you have this. So it's jump and length for I range and length. Yes, or the same jump I is here. And so, but just keep in mind that there are at least 2 ways of using formulas. Okay, so far so good. Let's have a break up until 8 minutes, 8 hours, 8 minutes. Okay.
For a while is working with the list and also with set.
This dictionary 4 words, but so at least a little bit like this, and then it'll turn on. I hope that at least you can see. Yeah. If not, tell me.
It's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
You can see, right? Yeah? You can see. Okay. Great. So that was for loop. And again, for loop is used when we have a countable, concrete, like numbers of iterations. So it could be really big, really big, but it is countable. And it has, it could be using break statement, it could interrupt in the middle, but still it goes like ideally to the end of its of this range in this region. So while loop it has a completely different other philosophy. So while loop it means, hey computer, please, while this statement here returns true all the time, do this code. It's just true, do this code, do this code, do this code. So, and then again, it is obvious. If you forgot to implement somewhere here inside this loop something that will change and at some point in time will make it false, you will enter into infinite loop. It will go to infinity. Yeah, so this is like the danger of while loop. Yeah, and then again, if it doesn't hold at the beginning, so while loop, this will not be implemented ever. So you just not even going here. So let's have a look at this example, like inverted ends. Yeah, and by the way, we generally use this loop when we don't know beforehand the number of times to iterate. This is the same, but when do we use this loop? When we don't know at what point in time something will happen. Yeah, so we use whether in some cases it is really you can use both for loops as well. It depends on your style. It depends on the speed of the program which you would like to receive. But like for our purposes, you can forget about the speed of the program. So you can use for loop or while loop. Nobody cares. Once it works, you're great. So. So we have a program to add national numbers up to n. So we have some n numbers, and we would like to receive all natural are what numbers from 1 to, so there are like natural numbers, there are like integer numbers. Integers, they include negative numbers. And natural numbers do not include negative numbers. Yes, they do. So natural numbers, that means from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 9 to at n. Yes. So for this to be true and to do it for all, we initialize the sum and the count. Why do we need this sum? We need why? Because we need to put somewhere all the information, and we will then this sum show to the user. Why we need to counter? This is called counter. Like it's not official counter. We just usually call this variable which counts something countable. So, and what is going on? While counter is less or equal than n, so this counter we compare to this we do some code. So at the first iteration, computer sees that 1 is less or equal. Actually, it sees whether 1 is less or equal than 10. It is. It means that we just our first iteration. So we just need to take the first number. Yeah. So we do something. So what do we we take the sum and update it by this number 1. And then we go, by this counter, we go to the second number, to 2. So we take 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, and we go to 2. Now I is 2. We go here, and 2 is here. Is 2 less or equal than n, which is equal to time? Yes, it is. So we do sum, which was 1. Now it is like 1. It was 1. Now it's 2. It's 3, right? So we put it here, 3, and here it was yes, it was 2, and now it's 3, and so on. So it goes. So yeah. So at some point in time, less or equal. At some point of time, it comes to 10, and yes, it's good. But when it comes to 11, so 11 is 11 less or equal than n. No, it isn't. It is greater than n. So it doesn't go and it escapes the loop. You remember, like at the beginning, it was this arrow like algorithm. So it escapes, and this sum, since it was declared here, it's like global variable, and it saves, and we can print it, and it changes. So it was changing at all the iterations. Like we become bigger, we do bigger. So this is like how we can calculate the sum of n elements using our while. Yeah, I hope it's clear. Okay. Yes. So again, this else part, this is Platonic syntax is this is the same as before. So just very quickly. So counter while counter is less than 3, we print inside loop, and we increase, and then when we come like to 3, so we go there and we print inside else. Oh no, actually more. Let's actually look at it here. Yes, 1 moment. Actually check. Counter proceed. And now you see I can counter plus one, but in this sense I can write, as you remember, like this, plus equals to 1, and it will be the same. Yes, else, print. Inside, that's. Yes, it prints. So, so it goes like this. So it goes like 0, it goes 1, it goes 2, it goes 3, it doesn't go, but it prints inside us. Yeah, just sorry, I need to refresh because I used this else function. Well, I don't really use, but very long ago. We need to be sure that I won't tell you something which is not true. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, and here break statement. Here break statement is actually much more important than in for loop, because in for loop it could be some condition, but generally you use for loop like for some amount of elements. Yeah, so for some amount of elements in some element, right? And well, you probably use break there, but not that often compared to while, because in while, in while you also use it, but it's again it is a possibility to escape the loop. It's a second possibility. Well, like so here you can escape it, and here you can escape the loop. So just using more power. So yeah. Break statement terminates the loop containing in it, so right now we're talking both about for loop and about while loop. Yeah, and break statement if it is inside nested loop, yeah, remember nested loop, nested conditionals, it was like when we in some if, you put another if and then another if. Here, right now, it could be like also the nested loop, another loop. Or loop and nested condition, or condition inside loop, and so on. So in this case, in sense, for while in sequence, if condition break and it escapes the loop, right? So break escapes here the whole loop. Here it also escapes here the whole loop. Yeah. So it's like a possibility to. Actually, you must keep in mind that break escapes the current loop. So if it is here, it escapes this loop. Not looking at the conditionals here also, but if it was like loop inside the loop, it will escape only the inside the loop. For another loop, you just need another break. So, for example, for while in string, if while is equals to I, break. In other case, print while. What will actually print us? So for while in string, if okay, so we take s. If while is equals to I, it doesn't equal. We print while, so we print s and from the new line. Then we look at t. Is t is equal to I? No, we print t. S, t are the same story, but when it comes to I, if I is equal to I is equal to I, this returns true, and then we go here, we come inside this if, it breaks, and it will throw us to the end, and will run to the end. You can check it. It's a really simple program, you can just easily checked. Yeah, this is like kind of a logic. Like enter loop, the suspension is like if it is true, break, then exit. If it is false, then exit immediately. And it's true and null, so we permanently do this. Yeah, like just like logic, like very simple methodology, so to say. And also there is another statement called continue. Believe me, break is used much more than continue, but continue is also existent. So continue statement is used to skip the code which is inside inside the loop for this current iteration. So it's almost it works almost as a break, but just the arrow leads not here but there. So if break throws us away from the loop and the loop stops, continue means like just forget about this, just continue. So it will so then again break will just consider your station here and for break break throws you here out of the loop and continue throws you here like to the next iteration of this loop. The same story in while. Yeah, break throws here and continue throws here. So remember when with break it was what we got out str and that's all. But now we get like str when it comes to I, it says to nothing, just it takes the next one, and it goes to n and g. Okay, so I think it is better to actually to see by code. Wait a minute. At least we have this switched off lights already, right? So, just for example, there's some text. Text is equal to string. For 11 letter in text, if letter equals to I, then break. Print letter, and here print the end. So I run. So yeah, as I said, what's going on is we receive like str because it goes like s. It checks s is equal to here. It is s equal to I. No, then it doesn't go to this break. It goes here. It prints. Then t. Is t does t equal to I? No. So it returns false. So he goes here to print. Same story result, but now I. If I is equal to I, it is equal to I, then break, and it throws away from the loop, and we print that. So just str. But if I will write continue, it will give me another result. So again, this str it does the same, but just the only difference is like with I. If I is equal to I, it throws out not here, but here, and we take the next letter, which is n. The n doesn't equal to I, we print it, and then takes g. It doesn't equal to I and print it, and then we print the n. Clear? I hope. Yeah? More or less. Okay. Okay, so it were continue and break. And now my favorite statement, I just devoted the whole slide of it, is the statement pass. Pass means just go through. So pass statement is used to construct a body that does nothing. So it just you use it. You can use it when you declare a function, variable seed, or something that by some syntax is applied, and you need to write somewhere there. But if you write plus, nothing happens. Just remember it. This is very nice. Very nice. I'll show you an example. Right now, a little bit later, for you, like, feel the beauty of it. Because right now it's not that necessary, but in more complex it's useful. Okay, and now we come to the key, also our key concept of our today's meeting, but second key concept of our today's meeting is functions. So what is actually a function in programming and Python? So by function we mean that we create some snippet of code which makes for us some result, and we can feed to it different inputs, and it will produce different output, but by the programming rules. So it's used for us everywhere. A lot of stuff is built on functions or even methods, but we're talking about functions. Yes, and they like perform the specific task, and we run them only when we call them. What I'm saying, so if you write some function and put it at the top of your file, it will be active only when you call it. Yes, so in programming, to use a function means to call a function. If you never call this function, it will just be there. It will not become alive. So just so for example, if you write this if statements or this for loop, like just in our whole file, I'll show you for you to understand. So this thing in this file, all of this, when you run this file, it runs in all the cases. So I just run it, and then it goes from first line to second line to third line, and it runs. But for example, if I write a comment here, it will not run, but because I by the sign I noted it, but it considers it. So when I write function, just imagine that here is a function. Just imagine that there is a function over here. So this, just imagine, we'll go to the declaration immediately. So this snippet of code, it just exists, but it will become alive only when you call it. While all of this we're written this style because we are running the main PY file and it runs from top to the bottom. This stuff will run in any case. And this, if you are imagining a function which here, it will run only when you call it. Yes, so actually functions help to break our programs into smaller and modular chunks. Yes, and when we have a really great program, we like to separate what is going on there and recreate in different functions. So, and this is actually the syntax of defining a function in Python. So, you write there, it says towards the computer, hey computer, right now what will follow will be a function. It is from definition, right? Yes, def space. Then here comes the name of the function. Then this is the name of the discussion. There are some rules how to name a function, but you can just try to avoid mistakes, but just name as you wish. But there are some rules. Rules of the function, then braces. And this braces means what are the inputs to the function. So in this particular function, we give them A and B. A and B can actually be anything, but we don't need like comparing to C, for example. In C we must have written here what is the type of the variable, right? Like integer or so on, char star, but here we don't need, we just tell you, hey, computer, you will receive A and B, and if A and B are some strange things, it will realize which can be worked by this function. Let's see if it will realize on relation. So again, def, space, name, curly braces, separated by comma is inputs and semicolons. This is how the function is written. So this little bit more verbose way. Yeah, I said already this. Yes, yeah, I forgot to say that this is unique name, so you must find all functions with new names. Yes, this parameters arguments, but I called it input. Yeah, and by the way, it's not obligatory the function receive any input. So A and B, the last example right here, parameters. Well, it can be, it usually is that some function receives something, but it's not obligatory. There are functions that do something useful without feeding, without being fed by some inputs. Yeah, fifth, just optional documentation string to describe what the function does. Okay, so continue. Everything in this slide was the previous slide. Here is new. So separation by three double quotes here, three double quotes here. Here is the thing called docstring. Docstring is a documentation of the function. It is a good style to write docstring to explain to other people all around the world, or even to you after a week or months or a year, what does this function do? So this is just like a text, it's like just a comment, it's like basically just a comment, but in function it's called docstring, so always write there what the function does. Yeah, so then follows after docstring one more valid pattern space statements that make up the function body. So by this verbose stage sentence means that here is what your function does. So statements. So I mean, it can calculate something, it can change some object and so on. So, but I mean, the key point is it must be here and from the indentation right here. Yes. And the last optional, by the way, statement is a return statement. So this function, at least in Python, it can either return something, either not return something. So, if it returns something, then you write return space, and what does the function return? It can return a lot of stuff. It can return booleans, true or false. It can return integers. It can return dictionaries, lists, tuples, whatever. So the logic of all this is that, like, you have some snippet of code here. It's called function. It's active only when you call it, and when you call it, you can either not give parameters, and you can either ask to return something, either it will return none, which means that it will not return anything. Well, in some other programming language, again, C, all the functions must return something. If I'm not mistaken, return 0 or 1. But here you can actually receive return, but you can avoid return if you would like to, if you don't need to have a return. Yeah? Yeah, so it was like a definition of a function, and it's right now we're talking about calling the function. To call the function, we just simply type the function name with appropriate parameters. This is an example. I would like to write it like live. Yeah, but yes. So I can erase everything here. So now I would like to define a function. So let it be just, for example, def greet. Yeah, and I want to receive here name. So I write there, I make space, I write name of function greet, and I think that I would like to greet some person, so I will receive some input, and I put semicolon. Okay, now if I write docstring, this function greets people. Okay, let it be even fancier, like approach input name output. Creating a person with a given name. Okay, so this is quite verbose, right? But at least this function says like just description what doesn't do, what is received as an input, and what is received, what doesn't receive as an output. So right now let's write the function. So for example, I would like not to. Well, this actually right now it will not be correct. So I can just cut off this. You will understand why. Now let's just write print hello plus. Yeah, but when I make plus with strings, I can continue with strings, so everything is correct. So now I make name, right? And now I just call this function read greet and trans. Hello trans, right? So I can actually like change, I don't know, like Kuzma. Hello Kuzma. So what's going on? Yeah, so the computer goes like this. So it starts from the first line, then goes to the second line. And now here this is wow, it's there. And everything which is like to the right of there, it will be called only when it will work only when I call this greet function. So basically, computer thinks to itself, okay, so I'll check all of this, but I will not realize it. I will realize it later. So now it goes to 7, nothing, 8, and here, so he wants, the user wants from me computer to use a function called greet. I know this function, it was defined here. So, and what does he give me? He gives me Kuzma. So, okay, so I receive here Kuzma's name, and when user calls this function, he wants from me to print hello plus his name. And the name is equal to Kuzma in this case. So that's why it doesn't work. Because switch with x equals 0 means everything works, and I see hello Kuzma. Yeah? Good? Like this little bit of function. But this is like when function returns none. So it returns none, so I just wrote here greet Kuzma. But just for example, I would like to receive some from this function. I would like to receive some result which I would like to work. For example, I just want to have a capital letter on this. What I would like to do? Okay, well, I would like to vice versa do this. So just forget about this. So just I would like to have a name on the other in the other order. So for no, this will be not a good example right now. Okay, maybe let's work with numbers. Yeah, okay, so this one good, right? Yes. Well, what I would like to return, okay, let it be something with numbers. So this one is considered as good. It's great. And now let's work with numbers. Like let's calculate the cube of some number. So the function cube, right now its input is number, and right now I wanted to return something. So output is a number in the third. So what I will do, I will just write return a number power of 3 power 3. And now if I would like to call the cube of 3, it will not actually print anything because I didn't tell it to print. Of course, I could have print number 3. It's like the same. You see 37. If I call it like 5, it will be 200. Because I use this print, right? I just want to print, but just measure that I don't need to print. I would like to return. So if I return, I run the program. It doesn't print me anything because I didn't tell to print anywhere to return. But I just would like to save it. So for example, number cube. I create a variable, and I save to there. What does this function cube return? Now I can print number variable. I must get the same. Okay, so this is exact. Okay, I need to this program. This IDE wanted for me 2 lines between the definition of a function and what's going on else. So at the beginning, or what was the previous example, I didn't return anything. Now what is going on? He says, I say computer. Hey computer, go to the line, receive the definition of computer. Now I know this. Everything this will leave only when user calls. So I come to this point. And what does user want from me? User wants from me to create a number variable, a variable called number variable, and put there the result, the return value of the function cube with the argument 5. So it looks what cube does. And go there and number 5. So it continues and it returns number with this 5. This means the power. Like 5 multiplied by 5 is 25, and then multiplied by 5 is 225. 125. Yeah, okay, so it receives right now number variable is 125, and now it just prints 125, and I get 125. Yeah, so at least you can work with functions in those 2 ways, like whether it does return something to you or it doesn't return, and you can actually print to the screen is a desired value at least. Yeah, several ways. Yeah, so this is just was an example how you can call a function. So this is actually calling of a function, but I just showed you that if it does something without any return, you can just call it and it will be fine. But if you need to save the result, you need to write return and it will save the result. And actually a function can do both. So for example, I can write a function which prints some sort of information but returns something else. Just for example, it could be like according to your needs. Okay, so now with functions, they do have such thing as default arguments. Yeah, so I will continue this big function. So default arguments is like when we are telling the computer what will be the default here if nothing else is given. Yeah. So let's little bit make it. I'll try to return by total. Okay, so I guess I return. Oh, great. Okay, not brilliant. Okay, so we returned to the case, the simple case, right? When there is no return and it's only print. And now I would like to show you how it can be a little bit complicated. So just imagine that we want not only to say hello to us, but to say him like what is like this part of the day, how to call part of the day, evening, morning, and day. How to say it's like part of the day, right? Okay, a little bit part of the day. So part of the day, let's also is equals to evening. So I write like this. I don't need here any spaces. So I like hello to us plus I like to write dot and then I would like it is good then plus part of the day. So what we're going to get? I just run it. Hello to us. It is a good evening. So let it be a little bit more offensive. Like this. Hello to us. It is a good evening. So so white to us and white evening. So here I just so what's going on? I would like computer to, when this function is called, I would like my computer to write on the string hello plus name is also string, and name is given by as a string plus dot just to beauty plus it is a good and plus part of the day. But here I didn't give any value to the part of the day. So somebody who was very wise beforehand wrote intermediate names what this function does if user hadn't given to us the second variable. So and that will, like by default it will write evening. But if I write morning here, like I give two arguments, morning, it will write hello to us, it is good morning. If I write night, hello to us, it is a good night, because this part of the day, it by default evening, but by this argument we override those default values. Yeah. So far so good. Yeah. So and now like little bit again about the return of the function. So it's return statement, yes, is used to exit a function, and return statement can contain an expression which gets evaluated and the value can be returned. Yes. If there is no expression in the statement or the return statement itself is not present inside the function, then the function will return the object. I said all this. Non-object is returned when we don't explicitly tell computer what to return. So yes, so it returns none, and I think like on Tuesday I showed you like the possible types of variables, and today they were called like for them, right? Integers, floats, booleans, and strings, but at least there are many, but we use the for this, and also I showed, if I'm not mistaken, the fifth one, which is null, if I'm not mistaken. At least I should have shown you. So null is also type of a variable, and one of the usership what does the function actually return here. So right now this example is about absolute value, right? So then again, this is definition. Everything which goes to the right of define means definition of the function. Then it goes equal. So computer reads this absolute value definition, it forgets about this, now it comes and say, hey computer, print absolute value true. So it takes 2 here, it checks, 2 becomes null. Is 2 greater or equal to 0? Yes, it is. It is true. So it goes here and returns none. So if it returns none, none goes here and print executes print 2 and the output is 2. Yeah, so and now okay, he did it, output 2, and now print absolute value -4. So it takes -4, it puts -4 here. Is -4 greater or 0 to greater or equal to 0? No. Then it goes to else, and then it returns -none. If none is -4, it minus and minus gives plus, so it returns 4. It returns 4 here, and it prints 4, and the output is 4. So like this is just one of the another example of return of a function. Yeah, let's go for it. So this is another important stuff to understand about a function is called a scope of the function. Scope we can translate in this sense as область видимости. Well, what is it? Yes, scope of variable is a portion of a program where the variable is recognized. Parameters and variables defined inside the function are not visible from outside. They have a local scope. Variables outside of the function are visible from inside. They have a global scope. These are 2 keywords. This scope, local and global. Yeah, so I think we need to actually look a little bit more closer. So I'm going. Yes, then we have a break, but let's for the short break and then yeah, but we need at least to to understand what is going to define my function x, y is equal to 10, 20. Print values inside function. X, y. No, and we call it like x, y is equal here and there are 40 and 80. Yes, my func, we call it my func, and then print values outside function, constants x and y. Well, here I must do this. Okay, so let's run. So what's going on here? If you see, like, values inside functions there are 10, 20. Here outside functions there are 4 and 80. Yes, then again, keep in mind, just notice that again we can declare variables by using single comma. X, comma y is equal to 40, 80. 40 goes to x, 80 goes to y. So here we just call the function. My function we just usually call, and we don't fit anything. Yes, and here like just how the print works, like these comments, and you will see first. So what's going on? We have just the little bit strange thing is just here x and y are equal to 40 and 80 correspondingly, and there they are different. But so we create variables x and y which are equal to 40 and 80, and they live in the global scope outside the function. Here we call the function and we create we call as the trans, and it creates a local variables x and y which have the same meaning as here, but they need their locals. They are 10, 20. So and then 10, 20, the values inside function 10, 20 we print it here, 1020, and then it's function over, and here we just print the values outside function, x and y, and we print it outside function 48. So this x and y here, and those x, y there are different guys. So these guys are global guys, and those guys are local guys. So these guys are global and they live everywhere, but those guys are local and they live only in that function. Once this function ends, they become non-existing. Yeah, so this is like about scope, and this is about like the local and the global guys. Okay, let's have a break, 5 minutes, and then till 9:30 we'll have our last program. Okay, let me visualize. Yes, so we are coming to the final section of our second seminar. So it will be the shortest. I think it's around 9:30. Everybody will be free. So let's continue talking about functions. Yeah. So right now we talked about scope of the function. Yes, and we understood what is the global variables and local variables. Right, it's actually quite important, and they actually can be really local variables and global variables with the same names, but don't be confused because local variables they live only in their local environment. Okay, so now let's talk about the topic, which is like traditionally talked in all computer science courses, but it is like a good style to know at least about this. So it's a recursion. What is recursion? Recursion is a process of defining something in the terms of itself. Usually when they talk in recursion in Python and programming, it means that we define recursively functions. Well, at least at the beginning stages, we define functions recursively. So, what does it mean? It means that in some cases, when we don't know how many times we need to do something similar, we can implement some corner case. It's called corner case of condition when there is a recursion, and we can define a function by itself. And it will repeat itself up until this corner case, and then it must stop. Well, and if you don't implement this corner case correctly, or absolutely forget about corner case, it means that you can find again to go to the trap of infinite loop. Or infinite cycle, actually infinity in all the senses. So recursion is like you define recursion by the recursion, what is defined by recursion, which is defined by recursion, and so on. So it's kind of fun and actually really fancy. Yes, so just for example, over to this. I just okay, so here I will send you the presentations. So Fibonacci, so recursion, we can talk in simple examples where it's used like, and I want to show you two examples, factorial and Fibonacci sequence. Factorial is actually shown, but I just forgot to delete this Fibonacci sequence, but anyway, just keep in mind that Fibonacci sequence can also be solved by recursion. So this is like the core, but then again, let's go to the darkness. Let's look at this a little bit larger for you to understand what's going on, what I'm doing here. Yeah, so actually, yes, consider that this part of the slide is totally through this factorial. This is Fibonacci, but for Fibonacci, you can actually make it work. Yes, you can try to realize Fibonacci by yourself. So it will be a good exercise. But now let's talk about factorial. Okay, wait a minute. So, okay, I don't need this function with global variables. So, for example, just I would like to calculate factorial of a number n as n with exclamation point. So, I can say that 5 exclamation point is equal to 1 and multiplied by 2 with 3 with 5. And like 3, just example, is equal to 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3. Okay, so what can I notice here? I can notice here that like that this on 5 is actually this one multiplied by 4 and 5. But what that does mean? It means that if I write like 4, which is 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4, I can see that 5 this equation is like this equation just multiplied by 5. And this equation, or well, this expression is just this one multiplied by 5. And this expression is just this one multiplied by 4. And if I will continue, 1 multiplied by 2, like 1. So I can see like some kind of a structure, and I can actually think of a function that does everything the same, but just at some point it will gives me 1. So I can write a function like factorial. It will receive only one number n. Yes, and I can like return. So what is this? It's like 5 multiplied by factorial of the 5 minus 1. Yes, so it's like return 5 factorial n minus 1. Yeah, but if I will do this all the time, it will never reach an end. So I need to make here a corner case. So this is like a corner case. So if I need to, if n equals to 1, I will return 1. I write like this. So I wrote this function, and now I just want to call it print factor, because the returns and doesn't print this factorial 5. And I push it, and it's 120. Wow, it's great, it counts. And 4, 24, and 3, 6. Well, actually, it's right, and 6. So, okay, so then again, let's go. I put here 6, it goes here, put 6. Is 6 is equal to 1? No. Then it returns 6 multiplied by factorial 6 minus 1. And this factorial, again, it looks at this like here, so like 6 minus 1 is 5. So this is 5. Like, is 5 equals to 1? No. Then it returns 5 multiplied by factorial 5 minus 1, it's 4. Yeah, and I look at this, so it's like
a loop also.
Well, it's not really a loop, it just function like does itself. Well, not in programming sense, a loop like statement, but yeah, in some general sense.
But could you calculate factorial through the loop?
Yes, indeed. You can. Yes.
It's the same. When we are, let's say, learning this part about, I also thinking about Fibonacci numbers.
Yeah. This is the right point. We don't need actually here recursion, but it's just a very simple and nice example, as actually the Fibonacci numbers. But I have a hint. So if you would like to understand what is going on here, you can actually use some Google, and in Google there is a great file called great site called Python Tutor. There is no presentation, so I recommend you, if you like it, to actually to save this file Python Tutor. So I just go there, I just put my code, and I just put visualize execution, and now I see. This is my code. This is my code. Everything here, forget about this. It's like Python Tutor users are asking for help now. Please volunteer for help. Well, I recommend you to volunteer, but not right now. Okay. So this is like here we see the code. Here we see how many steps, and we can go by steps. And here we see the output. So by this arrow, we see where the function is, where the computer is. So right now it is on the line 1, def factorial. I push forward, it goes to the print factorial. Why? Because the definition and it's read all of it, but it is not implemented because it's not called. But now I called factorial 6, and it tells me that in the global frame I create a function called factorial, and like which points to the well, I create like a variable which points to the output, the return of a function called factorial by name. Yeah, so I put next, and it says me that n is equal to 6, and goes, and is n equal to 1. Now I go and it returns n multiplied by factorial n minus 1, and then it in memory creates a factorial of n minus 5. And there is n equal to 1 now, and it goes to create factorial n of 4. And I go like this, so many steps, and now n is equal to 2. Is n which is equal to 2 equal to 1? No, then it goes to 1. Now it's got to 1, and now is 1 equal to 1? Yes. So it goes to return, it returns 1. And look at here, so now this return value 1, now this return value 2, now this return value 6, because like 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. Here 24 and 4, here 520, and this is the last one, and that's all. And it prints, and it's, this is the output, print output. Yeah, so I highly recommend you for cases like that. The website called pythontutor.com, and it really actually you can some other functions to like this greeting, for example. You can check how it works. This in this particular case, it will not give you a lot of the sense, yeah. So I consider it's clear. So we mastered the recursion, right? So I delete it. I put this one, and we visualize this function. This function, we just come back to the grid, and it creates like a global grid, time warning because of default arguments, right? And it creates. And it prints hello local but the return value is not, because I haven't never said here what I would like to return. So return value no, print hello Nicole good morning, and you can actually look at how everything is working. But this particular tool is really great. Just as the last example, like just I will write for now list, for example, L is equal to how to say rock, let it be classic, and jazz. Yeah, so and now for music in L, just for example print for music print for music in L, for letter in music, print letter. So I suppose like have this long of letters, so I just visualize it, and it takes 31 steps, and it tells me what is going on here. You see, like what does he print and why? At which step where is key? Like this is a list, rock classic jazz. This global frame, what is right now at this point of time and this line letter, and I just go, and this is actually the correct result, what I would like to see. But now it tells me like what is music, and also that music is just already. So I'm just, I'm letter A. Now I'm just letter Z. Now I'm again just letter Z. So. Yeah, so really nice tool, pythontutor.com. Yeah, absolutely free. Yeah. So, oh, nice. Okay, yes, and I will do homework. It is coming very soon. But if you have additional desire, if you have additional passion for programming recursion, try to realize Fibonacci sequences. It's actually not that complicated. I just thought about giving it instead of factorial, but then I realized that factorial is even more simpler, so I put factorial. This forgot to be good, but just try to realize Fibonacci and see whether you understand actually the recursion. So this is the same, like the same story, right? Just a little bit different code. Yes. So x is equal to 1 return 1, else return x multiplied by this same function x minus 1. And this is what I was like writing to you. It's like 4 is equal to calculation calculator, right? Yes, it's actually the same as I writing to you in the program. Okay, and we are coming to the end. So right now just a couple additions about the statistics and Python. So just reminding you that comments in Python they're using for this hash sign. Yeah, so you already felt it, but it's like just remember that in Python we usually, if we want to comment one line, we put it like a hash symbol. In other programming languages, it could be other symbol. So another way of doing it is we use triple quotes, either 3 single quotes or 3 double quotes. But you must like embrace your code in these quotes. Like if you would like to comment really a huge piece of code. So. So yeah, and if they are in docs in function you have seen already that multi-line string surrounded by those those triplets of double quotes. It's called docstring. It's actually important, and as I suggest you should write for all the functions you have written the dot strings, and it can be actually even accessed by some methods, so you can actually write a program that gives you dot strings of all of your functions in your code, which is actually quite nice. Yeah, one of the last like things is like a constant. So using by statistic of Python, constant is like a type of variable whose value cannot be changed. So this is like I don't know, a good style. So I think I will not write it right now, but just consider that at the beginning of a program, you probably want to have some numbers which are constant, but in this code, but it can be changed under some circumstances. So, for example, so you just write there. So you, for example, can write some program, right, some function, and there put if you want to calculate the number of members of your whole narada, wait, not members, but how it MP, members of our yes, MP, members of our. Okay, let me number of members of the whole narada is 450, like in general, right? Like in previously, right? So you write a program and put everywhere 450. But it comes Zelensky and he changes it to 300. So it's kind of a problem because you need to find all of this 450 in all of your code and to change it to 300. So it's one problem for you, and it's even a greater problem to all the other people to understand what is actually if you're just putting 450 in your code, where it comes from, what it is 450. So it is called like magic numbers. So try to avoid magic numbers. Yeah, but you can create a variable for this. But well, variable is in the sense is actually the same as constant, but just stylistically, if you have some constant, some number which is unchanged unless something great has happened, and unless somebody changed it, and it must be changed everywhere. It is a good style to write all your constants at the beginning of your code, right at the beginning, right, the first lines of your code, and declare that, hey guys, we have a constant called number of members of the kernel array, which is equal to 450. And usually the variables are in lowercase and constants are in uppercase. So by this we shout to the whole world that we shout to the whole world that this is a constant, that this is 450. And it could be used in many functions, in many situations. And just next time, when our dear Zelensky will change it to 300 people, somebody will just at the beginning count and just change this number to 300, and that's all. And no need to change it everywhere, and nobody is confused. So these are constants.
So it's immutable, yeah?
Sorry?
It's immutable.
Well, how it's written here, it's mutable, but yes, it is mutable actually. But it is how it's written here in this way. No, it's immutable, just agreement, not to mutate.
So it's really just convention, yeah? So
yes, it's agreement. It's like. So you just variable, but if you have variable and you mark it by all camel cases and you put it either in your file and you give it some concrete number, we consider it as a constant. Yeah. So okay, now we came to the final slide of the presentation. So this time I will give you. You'll be given a homework. So next time we will be seeing each other on Tuesday, right? Okay. So and this is the homework. I will not comment the second and third part because I would like you to read and to understand, to understand what is given or find any mistake I cannot make. I just comment the first part. This is so like 3 tasks and plus bonus task is Fibonacci numbers. Who wants to study recursion? So the first part, the main part, is write all the code from all the slides of this presentation and be sure that you understand what is going on. Okay. So as you know, I sent you actually Milena, but her name is Milena, but like the presentation of the first meeting, I on purpose just make this how to say picture of a code, and I put it into presentation for you not just to copy it. So it's kind of stupid, but I would like you, if you don't really understand this recursion, just by your fingers to write and to understand. You just look there and then you begin to understand what you're writing. Because if I just put it like as text, just a couple of slides I did it, but it's like a minority slide. You just Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and you think that you understand, but probably you're not understanding what's going on. So this is the first, you should, by the way, from all slides from this presentation and from Tuesday presentations. Yes, this is the first important note. And second important note is here are different people. Somebody had previously experience, somebody not. Yes, somebody had experience in Python, somebody not. Well, it's actually really impossible for me to teach you programming in 4 seminars, which are after work, which are it's really not impossible and not feasible. So the only way you can have something from it, it's if you by your own will sit this weekend or tomorrow and you will try to go for everything to digest and to work with your fingers, and you will be more prepared to the seminar 3 and 4, and you will get some of this because it's kind of cool to go here and to listen to me. I'm showing you something, but I'm not sure that you really understood everything unless you do it by yourself and your code. So I highly recommend you to devote some time and to, if you don't have an idea or desire to make 2 and 3, forget, but on 1, just go through the presentation and try to make this code to see that it works and understand why it works. Yeah, and if during today's meeting I made some additional comments, just try to remember why I said it, and where I said it, and why I told it. Okay, so thanks a lot. Yes, I thank you for coming. It is the end of seminar 2. Yeah. Może tak naprawdę komisję wstać.
No to ja mam takim wykonanie.
Projekt sobie jeszcze zrobić.
Nawet nie rozumiem jaką strukturę.
Tak.